Yesterday, under a job where we are excavating for a fence, I had two bolts breaking on this homemade rotor, and it's hard to see now. I will tilt it over soon, but this under part, this quick connection, is connected with 4 bolts into this. They are tightened from underneath and up into the rotor. So you can see here it's pretty loose now because the bolts in this front area broke off, so it's useless right now. The other problem is we can't reach those bolts because they are underneath here, and inside here is the whole mechanism for the quick connection and everything. And there you can see the 2 bolts in the back, and the other one is all the way in the front but broke off. So now you can also see the gap in between here. The GoPro, yeah, we can see the rest of the bolts there and everything. So what I need to do now is to cut the quick connector off from here all the way up here, all the way around, and then I can release the quick connector from the plate that is fitted to the rotor. So we'll take it off and then we can look a little bit at the bolts, but the maximum bolts I can have in is 4 because these beams from the quick connector is getting in the way. So I'll now grind everything off and then we can have a closer look. Most of the welds are now cut off. As you can see, we have it open here in the front, but all the way in the back I welded something I can't get to with the grinder. See, all the way back here, see if the GoPro will fit it. Catch it there, and on this side here, this I can't get to with the grinder, it's too big. So I have to see if I can find some good solution for cutting the 2 last ones, and then the whole quick connector is off. I got this quick connector off with this saw, and I have removed the bolts that was still intact, and this is the plate with which the quick connector was welded to. You can see this is where I cut to try to get it off, and there we have the rotor. And you can see, because of the quick connector with the width we have here, you can see that it was only possible using these 2 and these 2 bolts, because these were just where this was. So okay, it's luckily coming out real easy, so that's nice. You can see that this also is a little bit loose. So here's the one that broke off, and this one is also coming out easy. So I should probably have tacked these bolts a little bit better to this plate. That would have saved me a lot of trouble, but also I think I will change out these bolts for some of black steel. It's a little bit harder, it will handle more pressure, but as you can see, this one is also a little bit loose. But if I now turn this around, see, so this is what holds everything together. If I now remove these 2, I can take the whole housing out, and then I will be left with the gear right here. And with this gear I can then weld this to this, and that would be a lot better. It will be more like the Encon tilt-rotator over there. So I think that will be my plan. I need this one from Tuesday maybe, so I have this weekend fixing this, and I'm also hoping to weld the Tiltrotator this weekend, but we'll see what comes first. So then it's just disassemble and some more, grind and start welding, I think. So because I broke the 2 bolts on the rotator, I am now back at scratch with the homemade Tiltrotator, and here we have almost everything we need for building the homemade Tiltrotator. The only thing missing here is the top of my hydraulic grading bucket. It looks like something like this. This is the cardboard I used for measuring out how much angle I can get with this length of pistons, and that's why I went with this length, because I needed this much length to get 40 degrees tilt. So the plan for making the tilt on the Tiltrotator is just cutting the top off my hydraulic grading bucket and weld it through a plate and screw that plate on top of here with the bolts, and then I will get around 40 degrees to each side. And underneath that, as we have seen, is the Quickcoupler, and the reason for I only had 4 bolts in the Quickcoupler before is if we lie this out like this, this is the only 2 holes that will fit. You can see here with this, the other 4 bolts out on the side will hit just on the side here. So, but now when we are building it together this time, we will cut into this. I will mark it up and then I will cut into the side here, so we will get the heads of the bolt to fit, and then we can have 8 bolts in this plate, and then we will have 8 bolts secured in all the places here, because this gear is what's hold the whole tilt rotating the rotator together. This is the bottom holes, and this is the top holes that we will see here, and it's inside this housing. So this part is what's hold everything together, and after a year of use and abuse, I can't see any damage to it at all or wear. So I think this is built pretty sturdy. The strength of this one is actually so I can hang my Terex from it, from the specification from China, so that's pretty good. And this is the grid. I just bought this one new. It cost around $40, and then I just put a plate in the bottom and welded it too. And the rotator cost around $500 shipped to my address. This one cost around $100, and the pistons I think was also around $150, something like that. So that's the plan. All this plus the tilt part from my hydraulic grading bucket will be a homemade tilt rotator. But now I need the rotator for Tuesday, so it's Sunday today. So I need to build it together again, because I'm building a new retaining wall like this one you can see here. I'm using the rotator part for a lot of things, especially when I'm excavating out of the truck. It's really great, and excavating along a wall or something like that, it's really great to have the rotating possibility, and with the tilt it will be even better. But hopefully it's not long before this one is together. Just a little bit grinding. All I need is time. It's a lot of work now in the fall time, because everyone is in a hurry before the winter comes and wants to finish their projects and stuff like that, so I have a lot of work to do, so getting time to everything is not easy, but I'll try. The part 2 of this building of the tilt part will probably be when the excavation season is over, so that will be a winter project. But this is part 1, and now we have seen all the parts, and now we just need to drill out the holes, mark where they hit, and make room for the bolts, the head of the bolts, so they will fit in here. And I also have this Norlock discs. They are really good locking this. You can see they have 2 difference. They come in 2 parts, so you need the whole part like this, and the harder it vibrates and stuff like that, the harder it gets to get it loose. So hopefully I don't need to weld any bolts with these ones. And I also cut out the bottom part of the quick connector, so I can access and weld inside here. Then I will weld here on the plate, so that's also pretty good. But let's get going. There we have 8 holes. Then we just need to put it on top of this one and maybe tack it on there so we can maybe drill through this and then we can see where it's hitting here. So now it should stay in place while I'm trying to drill these holes through this. See. Here we can see where the drill bit have hit. You can see this is just on the edge. So drilling out for this big will be problematic. I think the drill bit will only skip that way. But now we have the marks, so now I can use the angle grinder and grind a groove that this head will fit in. Shouldn't be any problems. Bolts are in with plenty of room. Then we can secure it to this one and start welding. But first off, I will clean this one up and then I can start painting it. I've given it a round of base coat, white, so the other color will pop a little bit more. And I didn't care too much about the imperfections in the paint from the last time. No use, it will get banged up anyways. So the color is more for the fun of it. Alright, it's ready for its final color. Any guesses on which color it will be? Let's see. Oh yes, green. Then we are ready to start welding. I have made these brackets here from some flat stock, and we'll put them over the 2 holes here for some reinforcement. Then I will just weld them on now, and afterwards I can drill the holes out. So let's do that, and afterwards we can secure this one to this drive and this gear, and then we can weld this one on. And yeah, then it's just screwing everything back together. It's now, the paint is drying, so I guess I will paint a little bit of the black also, and then everything can dry up until tomorrow, and after that it's ready to be reassembled. Ready for putting this plate on, and for this we are using the Norway discs. They are looking really good. This is actually the same kind of disc that was on the Ancon Tiltrotator I just assembled, so I know they were sitting good. So and I also have a little bit of Loctite on, just in case. Alright, then I have everything tightened down with torque and then some, so should be ready for welding. I just want to clean up all the metal here and here before I start welding. So just cleaning it with some brake cleaner. Hopefully I will put the rag away this time so it won't caught on fire. Alright, it's looking a lot better. Let's tack it on. Alright, there it is, welded. I don't think that it will come loose this time. Now I welded the inside, and I think only with welding the inside is a lot stronger already, and I have this extra support and everything, so now it's just putting the springs in, and then I can weld the hatch I cut out, so I don't get the quick connector full of mud and stuff like that, and it will work pretty bad. So, and then I will just let it cool off, and tomorrow I can paint it a little bit. Thing with this is now I can just weld it a little bit, just tack it on the hatch, and then I can remove it for checking the bolts and checking the springs and everything. Like that, perfect. I'll just tack it on, and then it's ready to flip over, and then we can put the housing on. Tacked on the plate, we'll just throw some paint on it. I just removed all the old grease from the gear, so I have been grinding and welding on it and stuff like that, so I thought it was great to get it off, so it's not a lot of metal particles and stuff like that in it. We'll now grease it up with some new grease, but as we can see on the teeth and everything here, it's looking tip-top shape. You can see there is a little bit marked just from where the drive is hitting, but it's not much. I can't feel anything or nothing, so it looks like it's holding up good. This bearing here also nice and tight, no slack in it whatsoever, so that's good. I could feel that this was a little bit more easy to turn when I was welding on this because of the heat spreading up here and probably the grease inside, but now it's back to its normal self, so looking good. Then ready for placing the housing on, and you can see the two bolts here, so they have to line up with the two holes here. Okay, now we have something going on. Okay, now it's just installing the engine. And as we can see here, the engine has a keyway, and the keyway fits in there. Oh, almost forgot the O-ring. O-ring is in place. Keyway is there. Scratching the new green paint already. Okay, so I couldn't get the engine to fit inside here because you can see this groove is supposed to be in this, and I couldn't figure out why. And it's just actually this one that have came out a little bit, so I just need to hit it in again and then the engine will fit. But it was enough to give me a little bit of panic here, and what am I missing? See now? Ah, a lot better. When I look at it in this profile, I can see that this plate should have been new. You can see it's warped up all the way. So, but I don't have time for it, and the other reason is because the whole plate will be changed out when we are mounting these pistons for making the tilt. Then this whole plate will be new, so shouldn't be any problems. But now I just need to find the rest of this, and then it's complete again, ready for work. So now it's just connected disconnecting the rotor and see if everything works.